Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video on where exactly you should live in LA. And I'm going to go a little bit further into detail about what specific areas kind of are known for, just based on my personal experience now being almost 2 years living in LA. Plus, I was able to gather a lot of feedback from people around LA in different areas so that I could get their take on it as well. So if this sounds like something you guys are interested in learning about, then keep watching. This was an issue that we had first moving here as well. Like, we did not know what specific area or city we wanted to live in. And it was really hard to make that decision because we didn't really have many people to ask. So I thought that I would be somewhat helpful, hopefully, and give you guys some tips and just a few pointers on what each area is kind of known for. I have a few friends who live throughout LA in different parts. So I asked a lot of questions from people just based on how they feel living in those areas versus some of my own personal experiences when we were apartment shopping and when we just have been visiting. So, you know, it's a little bit of both my personal take and other people's as well. So first, I would like to say, obviously, there's so many small cities in LA and it's very hard to cater to everyone's needs because everybody's life is different and everyone is gonna have different tastes. So it's very difficult to give a one-size-fits-all answer to this question. Where should I live in LA? Obviously, the closer to the heart of the city that you're gonna be in, it's gonna get way more expensive. So if you're looking for a location where you can walk to restaurants, bars, nightlife, not that any of that matters right now, but if you are someone who is looking to be in the heart of the city in any area, you're gonna expect to pay a much higher rent and not like get like the most bang for your buck. So you're probably gonna have a smaller apartment, probably gonna have less cool amenities for a decent price, you know? And like what everyone defines as a decent price is of course different depending on your budget, but you know, typically LA is known to be very expensive. So I don't think that's a shocker or a surprise to anybody wanting to live here. We looked, let me give you a few places that we looked at when we decided to move here. So we looked in downtown LA, we looked in West Hollywood and Beverly Hills and like the beach areas, Manhattan Beach, North Hollywood, and really just, you know, kind of compared everything. First thing to consider is what exactly is your lifestyle going to be like? Obviously, are you someone who likes to be in the cool hip area? Are you someone who likes to be low key? Maybe you don't mind driving an hour if you want to head into town and pay a cheaper rent, because that's really what it comes down to. If you're someone who really needs to be in the heart of the city because of work or just because of opportunity, then you know you're probably gonna have to pay a little bit more. Let's just start first with downtown LA because I feel that it has like the more affordable places to live in. Like when we were looking online before we visited here, we were just thinking like, wow, downtown LA has much more affordable options as far as like having a cool high-rise loft, and you know the price compared to others was like a good amount, like maybe like $1,000 or at least a few hundred less than any other area. Downtown LA is cool. It's like the city. It's like San Francisco if you're familiar with the city life. I would just say be very careful. I mean, like not a lot of people have a good thing to say about downtown living, and you know there's a lot going on there. Obviously, there's just people in the streets all over the place. And now on the flip side, there's a lot of older buildings and there's a lot of great high rises. If you're looking for that loft living, that really city lifestyle, then you know maybe downtown LA is the place for you. Okay, so next I want to talk a little bit about West Hollywood. West Hollywood is very popular. This is the place that's known for those famous streets like Melrose and has all of the cool shops, like, you know, all the known stuff that you probably have seen on television at one point. They've got a ton of great restaurants. You know, it's very much the happening place of LA, and that comes with a lot of congestion and traffic, and you know, like the streets are super congested from stoplight to stoplight. Like just going across the street, we had a friend who lived there, just going across the street to go to like a Starbucks or something, like oh my gosh, the lines were like just, it was too much. going 0.5 miles a mile was like, it could easily be an hour if you like just hit traffic. And honestly, traffic in West Hollywood is nonstop. I can't think of a time where there wasn't traffic in West Hollywood. But the good thing is you can walk to places. So, you know, if you live in a nearby location in West Hollywood, you can walk to the grocery stores, you can walk to, you know, get a juice, you can walk to get lunch, like, you know, stuff like that. It is there, those are the pros, but the cons is definitely like super congested. Such a diverse place to live in. And so Hollywood, I don't really know a lot of people who live in Hollywood. I had someone who lived close to Hollywood. It's where you have the Walk of Fame, very touristy in Hollywood, and I don't know, the food isn't that great to me in those areas, so I'm gonna just have to leave it at that. Santa Monica is a very popular place. It's also very touristy, but way more family friendly. A lot of outdoor activities, a lot of, you know, people who are jogging and at the park, and, you know, it's more of like, yeah, it's more of an active city. You know, people are bicycle riding. There's a whole lot of activity going on, definitely more family friendly. The mall is great. It's a very popular place. It's like a place where we take our friends when we just want to show them around. You know, there's a great outdoor mall, and there's just so much to eat in Santa Monica. It's got like that beachy vibe. So if you're someone who's into like outdoor activities and the beach, yes, Santa Monica might be a great option for you. The pier is heavily packed with tourists most of the time. So you can expect a ton of traffic and a lot of just like touristy things, you know, that comes with a price. Also, Santa Monica is extremely expensive. Like if you're trying to get a beachfront view of any sort, like, I don't know, I just feel like expect to pay like triple, 4 times maybe the amount. We looked at a condo there and it was like in the millions, and so it's pretty steep. You can probably find, you know, obviously apartments for like maybe 3,000-4,000 a month, somewhere around there, but I feel like it could even easily be higher than that from what we've discovered. I have a friend who lives in Santa Monica and she loves it. It is, you know, beautiful to live by the beach, of course. I would live in Santa Monica. It is a little touristy for me. Like I kind of like to stay away from big crowds. And then there's North Hollywood. North Hollywood is one of my favorite places. It has its ups and downs. Like North Hollywood has gotten worse over the year, you know, as far as, unfortunately, there's a lot of homeless people in the area, but you can find safe locations. North Hollywood has a lot of great new renovations happening. There's a new mall being built in North Hollywood, and it is not yet complete as of 2020. And there's a lot of just like newness happening, you know, remodeling, lots of new businesses, new restaurants. Like it's really like a growing city, and it's not necessarily as congested. It's kind of in its own little outskirt location, which is nice if you're someone who likes to be in the, you know, kind of in like the heart of the city, but also still a little bit more low key than living in West Hollywood. If you're someone who likes, you know, to walk to restaurants still, you can find a great spot in North Hollywood and in the area to, you know, to live in that's safe and still, you know, somewhat affordable. I would say North Hollywood is, because it's a growing city, the prices are starting to rise a bit, but you can still find a decent priced apartment complex, maybe, you know, for a studio, you're looking at maybe like $2,500 and up. So, you know, it's still, of course, going to be higher, but it is a little bit less than most areas. There's also a lot of studios in North Hollywood, music studios. So that's something to consider if you're an artist and musician. I mean, there's studios everywhere, of course, but North Hollywood is kind of known for a lot of dance studios and music studios. So right next to North Hollywood is Universal Studios, where you can also find, you know, Studio City, Century City. There's a lot of smaller city areas that you can look into. Then there's like Woodland Hills, which is near Calabasas. It's kind of like a Calabasas, like, you know, slightly more secluded. You're a little bit further out, so you would have to drive into the city. They have nice restaurants that celebrities go to in Woodland Hills. They have like kind of more of like a a luxurious family vibe in a sense, I guess you could say. Oh, the last place I forgot to mention is Glendale. So Glendale is a very family area, lots of shopping. They have this Glendale shopping mall, which is one of my favorite malls, honestly. They have a lot of restaurants and shops in this area. So there's a lot of cool places to eat. Like I'm talking about, you've got everything in Glendale to eat, like so many different options, which is nice. I have a friend who lives in this area and she said that there are a lot of like snobby people. So I don't know, but there are a lot of really nice places to live in Glendale. It's a little bit more expensive as well, but it is maybe more of a family friendly location. And still, you know, if you're not in a family, I think it would still be a nice location if you're someone who kind of likes that family vibe. I hope that you guys were able to get some value out of this video. If so, leave a comment below and let me know what you guys think about any of these locations. Where would you live? Have you ever lived in these areas? We'd love to know what you guys thought. And if you guys made it to the end of this video and have been watching my videos, please make sure to subscribe or like the videos. It really, really helps this channel. That way I know I can keep making videos like this. Until next time, guys, peace out.